Designer Mark McGee launched his publishing company, How to Steam Broccoli, in 2024 with a card game Tether, which is for 2 or 4 players. In the game, you are trying to connect astronauts who are floating in space, with one player or team trying to connect them vertically and the other connecting them horizontally, with larger and larger groups of astronauts forming over time as the cards cluster during gameplay. I backed Tether on crowdfunding because McGee is a local designer. I've had him over at my house for a gaming event and wanted to support him, in addition to liking the sound of the game. I wrote it up in mid-2024, and McGee has now moved on and is ready to release his second game, which leans into the company name far more than the first title. Don't Botch the Broccoli is a tiny game for 3 to 5 players who are trying to steam broccoli. Yes, it's in the publisher name right there. And how you're going to do that is have your hand of cards each turn, choose a card, play it at the same time as everyone else, reveal it, resolve it, do it again. Ideally, you're going to end up with more points than anyone else. But how do you steam this broccoli anyway? Each player in Don't Botch the Broccoli has the same 10-card set that shows the values 1 to 4 and -1 twice. You're going to take all those cards in your turn, everyone plays a card, resolve them, and keep going until the end of the game. I will do this somewhat randomly and we'll see how things work out. So I choose a card from my hand, everyone reveals the card that they've chosen, and whoever has played matching values, you're thinking along the same lines, you're getting prepped, and those cards go into your steamer. Of the cards that remain, whoever has played the lowest valued card will score that card and anything they have in their steamer. The other players return their cards to their hands. So this player sort of progressed, scoring -1 point. We each have 2 points ready to score in the steamer, but it depends upon what we play now. So do this, reveal, reveal, reveal. The 3s match, they go in the steamer. The 1s all match in the steamer, and do it again. So things are going to pile up. People get incentives to go low, but you know they're going low. So are you going to go as low as well to keep them from scoring? Okay, so I play a -1, play these, 2, 2, 2. They all go here, here, here. I score my -1, which is not great, but I do end up with 2 points. However, if you have a card on the table and you did not score, then you must pick up that card and everything in the steamer. So they're back to start. And now this player has a huge incentive to play a low value. Again, not gonna... Oh, look at that. Randomly worked out here. -1s, 4s, they all go here. Keep going. Okay. 1, 1, 1. Oh, look at this. It's like magic. -1s, 1s, 4. Boom. They play it against the odds. Again, completely randomly. They score everything in their steamer. That's 5 cards down. And we continue until someone has scored 7 cards or someone has no cards in hand. This player, the yellow player here, has scored 5 cards. If everything else ends up in their steamer, the game ends because they have no cards in their hand to play. That may or may not be good. Maybe that's what you're trying to do. You then add up what you have in your steamer, and that's your score. As you might have noticed from that explanation, you can play Don't Botch the Broccoli in a random manner. I played the game 5 times on a review copy from the publisher, 3 times with gamers and twice with casual players, and the gamers adopted this random play style the more that we played. We finished one game, one player said, "This feels pretty random," just shuffled their deck, played off the top, happened to win. A second gamer did this in our 3rd game, and then we put the game away and we played something else, because clearly this is not the game for them. Now, I've heard criticisms along these lines about various card games, with one of the primary examples being Wolfgang Kramer's 6 Nimmt, also known as Take 5. That game has a card deck with cards numbered 1 to 104. You get 10 cards in hand, 4 cards are laid face up, and each player is going to choose a card, play it, reveal it. You put them in the rows in ascending order, and if you play the 6th card in a row, you take the other 5. 6 nimmt, 6 takes. And to many people, the game feels random, and some players play that way. Well, they'll shuffle the deck, they just reveal at random off the top. Maybe they do well, maybe they don't. And I can see the criticism, but also, why are you playing this game if you don't want to engage it in the way that the designer created it? It seems weird to me. I mean, to start, you can take 6 nimmt and remove all the randomness. If you have only 4 players at the table, play with cards 1 to 44. Each player will have 10 cards. There's 4 face up. All the cards are in play. You know exactly what's out there. You don't know what each person has, but you can count those cards if you want. And there you go. It's somewhat more deterministic in that you know the cards that are included in the game. Okay, you can do that if you want. Or you play the game as the designer intended, in which this is somewhat random, yes, but it's got a lottery feel. 6 nimmt has been in print for more than 3 decades. It's not like people don't like the game and don't like the game experience. Clearly they like it, it's just not for everyone. Because you're going to choose a card, you think it's a safe play, and then it turns out 3 other players slipped numbers under yours and you end up being the 6th in the row. And you get hosed even though you were sure that you were going to be safe. That's kind of the point of the game, is to have that randomness and variability and the sort of jackpot feel where you're pulling the lever and hoping things work out for you. You're choosing a number because you have some plan for what you want to do. You think this is going to be good for you, and maybe it is, and maybe it's not. It's the randomness of what happens, but your intention behind the choice is what makes the experience, because you see what happens as a result of that. And if you're just flipping cards randomly, then yes, go do something else, because clearly this is not the game for you, which we did. Okay, it's clear, not the game for everyone, but it's the game for some people, because the casual players liked it a lot more. One player wanted a copy immediately, so they were hooked. They liked the idea because you choose a card, you flip it over, you think you're going to score. Maybe actually we put those in the steamer. Well, what's left now? Don't Botch the Broccoli has that pared down element of a less random 6 nimmt, in which you know the cards that are in every person's hand. You know what they have in the steamer, you know what they've scored, if you remember what they've scored before. So you know what they have in their hand. You know what they can play. How are you going to play around that? What do you think they're going to do? And how are you going to overcome that? Or are you going to try to use that to your advantage and you both play the same number, you both put those cards in the steamer, and then you carry on from there? You could just end up putting it down a low card each time. You score those low cards. Or you try to build up something higher. And so what are the other players trying to do, and how are you trying to play off that? That's the whole point of the game. So some people really got into that, engaged in it, and others did not. So somewhat divisive. Now, it's interesting to think about what you have in your hand, and you might immediately think, okay, I can break this, right? I could just play my lowest card every single time, and I'll be sure of scoring all those things, right? But you're not. I mean, first of all, you're scoring the negative ones first, if you are scoring those cards. So you're going to start low and then slowly build up by playing the ones. If you score those, you're at 0, and then you got to go on. And other people might be scoring as well. Because playing all the lowest cards means you start low, but if you are tying with other people, you both play negative ones that go in the steamer. You both play negative 1 that goes in the steamer. You play a 1, it goes in the steamer. Well, eventually, all your low cards are going to be in the steamer. Someone else is going to have a low card. You're not going to match, and you have to pick everything up. So you can't just play automatically. You have to try to adapt to what other players are doing. It's only a 10-minute game. So you play, we play, I mean, what we did, we played again immediately because you're trying to respond to what people did before, right? Again, you're sort of pulling the lever on the jackpot, on the slot machine, trying to make things happen, see how it all works out for you. Making choices and it's that sort of emotional reaction that you're trying to get from the result of your choice. But if you don't make that choice, then there is no emotional reaction. Yes, you are divorced from the result of the game entirely because you haven't engaged with it. So that's the experience of Don't Botch the Broccoli. And you might already know whether that type of game is for you or not. Right? This worked really well with casual players who have not played many games because it's fairly straightforward. Now, you have to take a bit of a leap because you're looking at your hand initially and saying, I have no idea why I should play anything. And maybe you just say like, well, what I did initially, we'll play one card each at random. I'll explain how this works. And we'll play a second card at random, see how this works, and then we pick everything up and we start the game for real. So you get some sense of what's going to happen by giving the examples. Instead of just explaining how it works, you just show how it works. And then people can catch on more immediately. Because conceptually, as I read the rules, I'm like, what are we even doing in this game? I don't understand the flow of the game. And then once you play it, then it becomes clear. So that's it. Very simple, straightforward game. It's going to be ideal for PAX audience, for example, which is where this game is going to debut at PAX Unplugged 2025, because it's a game that you play at a standing table. You play in 10 minutes. You over the experience based on whatever happens in the game, and then that's it. And then maybe you do it again, and then you play it over dinner, with the other people. You have that experience. That should be the style of the game, where things don't work out for you. Only criticisms I have is that yellow on a white background, not the best choice for a color. I understand you're probably trying to go for colorblind issues, but yellow on white, not ideal. And then the orange and pink, found them kind of close. I do like the nice touch of the color being on the back of the card. Completely unnecessary, but it's kind of nice just to have pink back here and purple here and orange and so on. It's a nice little graphic touch. Wish the colors were a little more distinct, but cute art. Showing off all the florets there. Now you know all about